Friday.
was
Was
Friday's
Friday
newspaper.
early?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
I probably still have that at home. 'Cause,
Did
yeah, we still get newspaper delivered.
you hit a button?
Yes, I
Thank
did
you
all
so
of
much.
that.
I get it delivered, but only on Sundays, because it's the only time I have time to read, and we subscribe online because of that.
Okay, so I exit out, right?
I got it.
And then I let Michael in, or you let Michael in. Where'd he go?
He's at the bottom, I haven't touched him.
Okay. And
And I'm just gonna minimize for 1 second while I try to get these windows down.
what was that other window?
It was a Zoom window.
Okay. Hi, everybody. We're live, but we have not started the meeting. Yeah, I mean, we started the Zoom meeting, but we haven't started the executive committee meeting quite yet.
I'm texting me, Sarah.
I'm sorry?
You
Email.
text me, okay.
No, it must have been on live first, because, in fact, I thought I read it elsewhere, like maybe LAist. Yeah, everybody
maybe.
copies everybody else.
Right.
And then I did see it in the Times. And now that he has resigned.
I'm gonna change the subject for a second.
Okay.
Because just to talk about neighborhood councils in general, I did this big tree engagement event, not planting, by the way, just community engagement in Central Alameda. And they had a big problem. They have a new board. Their previous president's sister was the treasurer.
Oh.
And there was some issue with all of that, so now they have a new board. They are unable to get quorum, so they haven't had a meeting since April. It's been difficult. I feel very privileged to be on a really well-functioning neighborhood council. I'm gonna try to help this new president. Hi there.
Hi. One of you must be Mackenzie.
Yes, I'm Mackenzie.
The other must be Carl.
Yes.
Hi.
How are you?
Please have a seat.
Hello.
Have a seat up there, please. We have not actually started the meeting, although we have started the Zoom.
Okay.
So you can
And
say-
we stream live to YouTube also, so.
Oh, sweet.
So when it comes time where you guys are talking, you'll be at the table.
Okay.
And you'll be talking to us, but you'll also be talking to the screen. So, I have a tough time because I always try to talk to this screen and it's the wrong screen because that's what I want.
Got it. Straight in her.
They can probably just sit there too, Laura, I don't know, because we're gonna have Paula and Candace, but we can work it out.
Right.
Because I think the system will. but it doesn't-
Well, no, I want them to come forward when they speak, but, right.
Whatever
Whatever.
you wanna do, or they
If
can
you-
stand up.
Hi, Paula.
Hey.
I mean, in fact, you guys could probably come to the table.
Whatever works best.
Well, Paula, you're gonna
Hi.
sit. Well, it doesn't matter.
Is there somebody here?
No,
You.
Go ahead.
You can have them take chairs.
Sorry about my cord.
No.
Right, if you wanna bring one chair, so one, two.
Yeah.
Chair here,
Feel
and then
free.
Candace can sit there when
Yeah.
you get to.
Wherever you'd like.
Because in other words, the thing.
It can reach them, it can pick them up now, Laura. See the yellow? See the yellow package?
I'm getting a mixed message. You want them at the table?
It's your meeting, however you want to
Okay,
proceed.
well,
Hey Candace.
hi Candace.
We're fine wherever we are.
Okay,
So we can stay here if that works best, and then we
Well-
can come forward to present.
that'll be fine.
Great.
That'll be fine. Okay, and we do have quorum, so we have more than quorum. We have all the officers present. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. And this is a meeting of United Neighborhoods Neighborhood Council's Executive Committee, which consists of the officers. And my name is Laura Myers. I am the vice president, and I'm going to share the screen. And with our agenda. Okay, and I do need a little help. How do I move the pictures off the edge of the agenda?
We can make it small.
Minimize it,
Yeah.
Like the bar.
Well, yeah,
That
she's driving.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, just, there you go.
Right, and then I want to navigate in here. Okay, so the first item on the agenda is reviewing the agenda. So I will scroll through the agenda. First, we will have general public comments and announcements. And then showing here as for next is the executive committee business that includes the secretary's report, treasurer's report, vice president report, and president's report with several items in each. And then a discussion regarding SB 411, which is the state legislation that may allow UNNC and other neighborhood councils to change its meetings to Zoom only or to continue with a hybrid format. And we'll have a discussion about that. And we've been asked to take into consideration two different motions that have been forwarded to neighborhood councils throughout the city from the Los Angeles Neighborhood Council Coalition, otherwise called LANC. And we'll be discussing both of those. And we have with us tonight representatives of Angel City Pit Bulls, which is one of 3 organizations that together operate the Jefferson Park Pet Resources Center, which is the former South Los Angeles Animal Shelter on 11th Avenue. And committee reports, if we have them as needed. Old business, we'll be discussing agenda items for next, for the October board meeting, and then we would adjourn. I would ask my fellow officers if, since we have guests, I think we can probably get through most of the administrative upfront stuff, but if we can then flip the order of those major discussions to allow our guests to.
Actually, what I would, if I can make an amendment, that we do general public comments, then we take our guests, and then we get down to business.
I agree.
That's fine too. Is that okay with you guys? Because you were so excited about staying. Okay then, so that's what we will do. We don't need a motion. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the share. And the next item is general public comments and announcements on items which are not on this agenda. So you'll see actually printed on the agenda is the first announcement, and that is that this coming Saturday, September 23rd, all day long in City Hall, the Congress of Neighborhoods will be held. And the Congress of Neighborhoods is an opportunity to get together with neighborhood councils throughout the city and other stakeholders. It's not limited to board members of neighborhood councils. There's a lot of workshops on various different topics that we work on in neighborhood councils or which are important this year for the city. And there's lunch and there's free parking in City Hall. And woo-hoo, John Arnold and I, Laura Myers, are presenting a Planning 101 workshop at this event. And it's actually a double session, so we'll have the first 40 minutes on Planning 101. And then there's several other chairs of planning, land use committees from around the city. And we're gonna do a panel discussion on best practices for land use committees, which may be interesting. Anyway, so that's one announcement. Are there any other announcements or general public comments? Donna.
Hi. Wondered about the doors at the house. Is there some way we can do something about it? I wanted to bring it up. I don't know if this is the right place to bring it up, but should a letter be going from neighborhood council?
Yeah, we can't actually discuss it because it's not on the agenda.
What is she speaking of, doors?
During the renovation, the past, we were out of commission for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They did the minor renovations and then they replaced the doors, the historic doors.
Afterwards.
Yes, the following week, they came in and replaced the historic doors that were here, and they put in these cheap doors. They did not go through Office of Historic Resources, they did not get permits.
Yeah, it was not on the plans.
Okay.
Right, and yes, it was not on what was identified as the work that was going to be done. So there were a lot of letters that went out from Laura, the original architect who worked on the restoration, and
That's Laura, comma, and the original.
Yes.
So that wouldn't be me.
right. And I was under the impression that the doors had been returned. There was some hardware issue but the doors themselves could be restored. I mean, there may have been some water damage. So I don't know what happened. I received, my husband's on the HPOZ, and he said that, and they didn't go through HPOZ, that the doors were replaced. But then now I came in to this afternoon and I see that these other doors are here. So I know we can't make, thank you for bringing it to the board, the executive committee's attention, Donna. But we need to do something about it. We have the authority and we should reach out to maybe the council district or something to.
Yeah, I mean, the problem.
That has been done. I did write a letter to Kimani, Chief of Staff, and I wrote to Daryl Ford and everyone else. So that has been done.
Right, so I think what we need to do is place an agenda item on the governing board that simply gives authority to the president of the executive committee to write letters on matters like this without having to wait for the board meeting.
Okay.
Right, so that would be an agenda item in and of itself, so that obvious, yeah, something.
I agree that we should do that.
So,
Okay.
so, but beyond that, we can't really take any action tonight. I'm sorry.
She did tell her.
Sorry, yes, but I'm looking at you guys, I'm not looking at Donna. I'm still having trouble with this tripleness. Okay. Are there any other general public comments?
Yes, I had wanted to bring up the Halloween parade that will be happening in October. I had requested that Chanel Critchlow reach out. I don't know if she did, but she is planning the Halloween parade that many of you know about. And I don't have all the details. When should she and how should she reach out? And if
So, Don, you mean for us to promote it?
yeah, support.
Answer for.
Okay, well, maybe we can bring it to Recreation and Parks, Donna, and put it on the agenda. I don't know how we can support it financially, but certainly we can promote it, you know.
Is it gonna be on Halloween again?
It's usually the day before. I haven't looked at the schedule. I had asked her to reach out, but people, you know, it's the way it is. Halloween falls on a Tuesday. So I suspect it would be the weekend before. So I just wanted to mention it, and those are my comments. Thank you.
Will there be a flyer?
Probably.
Definitely there will be. And she does go to social media. It gets a huge turnout. It starts at 7th Avenue and 25th Street and goes to the park. And they have activities at the park. West Adams Avenue supports it every year.
Okay, good.
Right, and it's cute. I mean, there's lots of little kids in costumes, but there's also musicians. Lots of noise, sometimes many dogs.
Speaking of dogs.
Yes. All right. So.
Segue.
Segue, if we are done with general public comments, we again are gonna move to agenda item.
One question.
Yes, sir.
Does that parade terminate at the haunted house?
Terminates here, yes.
But it's not on Halloween, so it doesn't actually terminate where they can then go to the haunted house, which is on Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Right, so if it's on Tuesday, then yes, and if it's not on Tuesday, then no.
And she said it'll probably be the weekend.
Okay, we're gonna move to item 7, which is an introduction and a little presentation of Angel City Pit Bulls and the Jefferson Park Pet Resources Center. Mackenzie Paycock, yeah, you'll pronounce it for me, Mackenzie and Carla, and I'm gonna bring up your presentation.
Thank you so much.
And if you could move to the table. And while I'm doing this, okay, Teresa, I really need your help. Because it's already open, but I don't know.
That's not, if it's open, it's not here. Is it
No.
one of these, then it's not open.
It's a PDF that is open.
This
Oh,
there it is.
There it is.
Lovely.
So,
So-
but now it's not
There,
shared.
so now you wanna share, 'cause
Oh,
you
I
wanna make
see.
it blue and then you share it.
Got it. There we go. So can everyone see the screen? Those of you on Zoom, can you see the screen?
Let's go.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much for having us here tonight. My name is Mackenzie Paycock. I'm director at Angel City Pit Bulls, overseeing adoptions, foster programs, and alumni support. My colleague Carla is also here.
Team lead for the Kid in Foster program.
And we are Angel City Pit Bulls. We are located, we're based in the old South LA shelter building here in Jefferson Park, along with our partner organizations, Stray Cat Alliance and CAMP, which is a low-cost veterinary clinic. We partner with LA Animal Services, and all of our animals do come from LA Animal Services to assist with their animal population.
Tell everyone to switch.
Yes, first I'm just gonna give you the overview. This slide is our quarterly report for the last quarter with some cool data in it about what we've been doing the last few months. But just as an overview, together with our partners at Paws for Life Canine Rescue, they're located in the Old Northeast Animal Shelter up in the Mission Hills. Together with them, we take in more than 50% of the animals going out to rescues in LA from LA Animal Services. So at Angel City Pit Bulls, we take in animals who are most in need. So we focus on large dogs, medical dogs, underage puppies, and underage kittens. And we have our home base in the Jefferson Park Pet Resource Center, where we house some of our dogs and cats. We also have foster programs. We get the animals adopted out, and we offer alumni support as well. We also offer community support through our programs. We offer a training class that is free to the community at that location on Saturday mornings. And we also do enrichment pack hikes that's free to the community. And we have a community support hotline where we get calls from all over LA County and even beyond, where we offer support and resources to anyone who calls in. And I've got some data in these slides that talk about how many calls we receive, but it is hundreds of calls every month. We are a fully volunteer-run organization. We have no paid staff. And so we wanted to introduce ourselves to all of you and the community to let you know that we're here. We're here to provide help for the animals and hopefully recruit some more support.
How long have you been there?
We've been at that facility since 2018. So the old South LA shelter built a new facility and moved in 2015. And so that building sat vacant for a few years, and we moved in along with Stray Cat Alliance and CAP in 2018.
This is the building that's across the street from what used to be the dairy place?
Yes, yeah, it's on 11th and Expo.
Oh,
Yeah. So if you want to move forward on the slideshow a little bit, we can tell you about some of what we've been doing lately. So this is our mission: to create a better future for pit bulls through education, public advocacy, adoptions, and owner support.
But you rescue and help more than pit
We
bulls.
do, yes. When we first began and branded as Angel City Pit Bulls, we were focused on pit bull type dogs, as they were the ones who needed the most support in shelters. But now we really have expanded to all the animals that need the most support, which includes kittens.
Okay.
Small little Frenchies.
Yeah, we've got Frenchies. We like to call them our pit bull adjacents. Yeah, if you want to move forward. So this is what we've done just in Q2 of this year. So this was April through June of 2023. We took in 58 dogs from LA Animal Services. 24 of them were major medical cases. We adopted out 46 dogs. We hosted 114 ACPB Academy students. So those were individual owners with their dogs. 54 community members attended our pack hikes, and we took in 103 kittens during that time. Forward, yeah. Keep going there, yeah. There's a few great stories in here. I won't take up too much of your time with these, but this is our medical team who does so much to support our medical dogs. We do clinics at the Jefferson Park Pet Resource Center for our in-house dogs every week. Go ahead and move forward there. This is a special story about one of our new dogs, Bronx, who is an amputee. We suspect he was hit by a car before entering the shelter and had to have one of his legs amputated, but he is doing great now and looking for a home.
She looks happy.
These are some of our special dogs. We've been seeing a lot of parvo lately in the community, so we've taken in a lot of puppies that have parvo and have survived.
Wow.
So these are some of our little parvo survivors. Go ahead and move forward there. These are some of our adoption stories from this quarter. Cowboy Tim. He was also a major medical case. Most of our dogs are, and had double hip surgery to repair it, and he's since been adopted. This is a family. We've had a lot of mamas with puppies lately. So this is Mama Belle and all her little baby potatoes. And the potatoes have all since been adopted. Mama Belle is still in a foster home as she deals with her major medical. She just had knee surgery. And here's some information about our community support. We have a phone line that's received as of this data was 465 calls through June, I believe. And since then we've gotten hundreds more. We respond to every single call that we get, both in English and in Spanish. We offer support and guidance on rehoming pets, what to do with stray or found animals, landlord issues. It runs the gamut. Anything that people need help with and they don't know where to turn, they Google us, they call us, and we do whatever we can to help.
Yeah, sorry, I already moved it forward.
That's totally
By accident.
Yeah. This is just a special story about how we try to go above and beyond to support our community members, and with whatever resources we have. All right, and that's the end of our slides. But Carla, do you want to talk about our kitten program specifically?
So another animal that gets, we're overwhelmed at the shelters are kittens. Kittens are pouring in daily. Sometimes all 5 shelters will get up to 125 kittens a day. And our South LA shelter, unfortunately, is getting quite a few kittens every single day. Our program is a foster program. From March to October, we once a month fly them out actually of LA. So we pull the kittens out of LA, they go into our foster program. So they're in foster anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 weeks, and we do short-term fosters too. So anybody who wants to just do a weekend or a week, we'll take you. And basically, Spokane, they go to Spokane Animal Rescue, and basically they're short of kittens. So we help a community
How nice.
with kittens.
And they have people who want to adopt and they don't have kittens.
And they
We got
usually
plenty.
get adopted within a week or two, and then it creates space here in LA. It creates the ability for more kittens to get rescued, more kittens to get adopted. So our program, we provide all the supplies, we provide the guidance and support. We will go ahead and even for our senior community, who are a little bit more homebound, we do drop off the supplies and the kittens and pick them up for the vaccine dewormers. So we do try to create accessibility, and also we really focus on trying to build bridges with our Spanish-speaking community and make sure that we have Spanish-speaking people that can communicate, because not everybody speaks English. And so it's been a great program. We've been really blessed so far. We have rescued 218 kittens this year, and we are hoping, we just pulled about 48 kittens in the last 2 weeks, I think. So we are hoping to really do, hoping to do another 48 in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks if possible. So we do need your help putting the word out. We do need fosters to continue to do this work.
We have an open house this Saturday
Wow.
at the Jefferson Park Pet Resource Center on 36th and 11th. It is from 2 to 4 p.m. and it is open to the public. So if anyone is interested in learning more about what we do there, we're happy to give you a tour. meet some dogs, meet some cats.
Do you have a flyer?
Not on me now.
No, for us to put on our.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
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 absolutely, yes, we can email it to you. Mhm.
Okay.
And that's this Saturday?
That is this Saturday.
You said 10 to 4?
2 to 4.
2 to 4.
Sorry, 2 to 4
Do you have an
p.m.
age requirement?
Don't get there at 10.
Yeah.
Or children?
So children are allowed, yes, yes.
Yeah.
For volunteering, to handle the dogs, you have to be 18 and up, but for our younger volunteers, we have other opportunities for them that they can do with
I'm gonna
parents.
stop the
And
shooting.
kittens are great for children.
Exactly, kittens are great.
And what's the phone number for your organization?
So the hotline phone number is, oh gosh, putting me on the spot. Pull it up here.
Yeah, you didn't have the number in any of your
Yes,
slides.
yes, let me hear it here. Okay, so our phone number is 323-601-8055, and that's our community hotline number, where folks can call to get resources and support, or more information about Angel City Pit Bulls. We're also at angelcitypits.org, and we're at Angel City Pits on all of the social media.
So for the community hotline, say you live in a house and there are a couple of stray cats that like to visit your house.
Like to visit.
Is this the phone number that you will call?
I can give you resources. We're our partners, actually, Stray Cat Alliance. Just to speak really quickly about them, Stray Cat Alliance does help the community TNR, so trap and neuter in return. They do offer a lot of clinic help as well. And sometimes if the cat is a feral cat, which is not like socialized with humans and stuff, sometimes they do enter them in their community working cat programs. And then also will help give them medical as well and then release them back into, someone's taking care of them and trying to. So they do really advocate and work with LA Animal Services as well. And then we do know other TNR groups because we are all Stray Cat Alliance and we also network with a lot of TNR so we can help. So feel free to holler.
Yes, feel free to
How
reach
are
out.
you funded? Because all this animals to feed and.
Yes, well, we are
Slice the
fully
stuff.
volunteer run, so every dollar we raise from individual donors and private, we are funded through primarily individuals giving small dollar donations. And
And
our
LA Marathon.
And then, yes, the LA Marathon is our primary fundraiser each year. We have a big team, we've been running for 10 years. And so it's peer-to-peer individual fundraising, folks asking their friends and family to send us some money. And that is, makes up the bulk of our operating budget every year.
So I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
So the facility itself also houses camp, which
Yes.
used to be called
Smith LA.
Spay Neuter Project LA.
Yeah.
And my understanding is they have 3 key programs, not necessarily all running out of there, but they have a mobile van, right?
They do, yes, they have a mobile van, they have
And
multiple
that
clinics.
does vaccines? Or-
It does
And
vaccines
microchips,
and microchips, and I think it does some basic vetting as well?
But it
Really?
doesn't do spay
Yeah.
and neuter.
Like they'll-
you know,
I don't think they do
no,
spay
no,
neuter
no,
in the van,
Right, I wouldn't think so.
no, they do that in their
Right.
clinic.
And then at the clinic here, 11th Avenue, because I have personal experience with this, they have low-cost veterinary
Yes.
care.
Mhm.
And then they also have vaccine clinics.
They do, and it's all low cost to begin with, and then if you are low income, it's even further discounted.
Right. So is that also geography based? Meaning, in other words, if a person lives in 90018, which would be where you are, that's obvious. But if a person lives in the valley, can they?
I don't think they're location based because camp also does have multiple locations.
Yeah.
So they have a clinic here, they have one in San Pedro, they have one in Mission Hills, so they have a few different locations. So I think anyone in LA can participate.
And then one of the things Carla and I were talking about, and Carla had emailed Paula as well, is that you're thinking about, plans are not finalized, somehow doing a pet food pantry or
Drive.
a drive-through, I mean, something
Right.
here, or collecting pet pantry food to support the South LA existing pet food pantry, or both, or sadly neither.
Yes, yes, so that,
What do you
we have a lot of ideas about that, and we just wanna put a little pin in it, and we'd love to talk to you more about that next month if possible, because we just wanna bring in Stray Cat Alliance as well and make sure that we're all working together on that project.
And so one of the things that, again, Carla and I have talked about is sort of like, it's an event, but you're also a 501c3.
Mhm.
So as we're thinking about what we can do to support your efforts, well, one thing we can do all the time is if you have open houses and things like that, just let us know. And let the council office know too, because, they send out a sort of a newsletter that has events in it. And we
Yeah.
sometimes do the same thing.
Wonderful, yes, we'll send
And
you.
this is also volunteer, it's a neighborhood council, but that effort is also volunteer based. But we do have a network with local Facebooks, and we have a MailChimp, so we can
Great.
definitely do that without asking permission from the board or anything. This is what we do for all of our local, organizations. But, it would be in the future, if you come to us and say, ooh, can you help us on blah, blah, blah. It's sometimes a little easier to help with a grant than it is to say, we'll co-sponsor the grant.
Right, good to know, thank you so much, yes, we'll send you our upcoming events, we usually have something going on every month. We've got an open house this Saturday, and we're gonna be participating in the citywide super adoption event put on by Best Friends in November, so we should be having some more events leading to that as well.
And I don't even know who read it. You mentioned kittens, but I think there was like neonatal kitten nursery in that building. Is that still there?
The Stray Cat Alliance, does still have their nursery there. So before, the neonatal nursery used to belong to Best Friends when they were there. And so when they moved out, Stray Cat Alliance does still have their neonatal nursery. They have their ringworm unit as well there. And then they also take care of a lot of like the special needs, like medical cats as well there.
And I feel the whole Pet Resources Center has a really low profile in our community. I think it has a high profile in the animal rescue and support community and a very low profile among our residents. So,
You don't think of them until you need them.
Right.
Yeah, we
Exactly.
fly under the radar, that's for sure, so.
So perhaps we can
Yeah.
help with that too.
And then just to, one thing that camp also does offer is, usually almost quarterly, they do a free microchip, clinic days too as well. So they do put the word out too, so especially like before 4th of July and during holidays and stuff, they do their free microchip for dogs and cats.
Right. And we need to move on, but I will say, I know we're going to be facing an additional crisis with pets. And the reason is that as the COVID landlord restrictions are being eliminated, so by February 2024, landlords no longer, unless the city council passes an ordinance, landlords no longer will be required to allow their tenants to have pets. So, yeah, so it was, yes, right now they're still required. You wouldn't necessarily know it from posts on the store when people are being evicted for their pets, but that's coming to an end, February 2024. So, yeah, crisis. Okay.
All right, you gotta go. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Oh! Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Okay, so we're back to the order of the agenda.
And we have about 1 hour, so.
Yeah, I know, so let's go through this quickly. Executive committee business, secretary's report.
Yep.
I need to share the minutes from
Thank you, ladies.
July.
yes.
Thank you. Okay, the minutes from 2 months ago, which is hard to believe.
I'm still not seeing it.
You were just on it.
I know.
Oh, sorry.
I'm
So don't share it, Laura, just close it. Okay. And now open it,
open.
the minutes, right there, right? Now go back to the Zoom. And then now share. And then there it is all the way to the left.
Got
And then share.
All right, so meeting minutes from 2 months ago. I don't remember anything, so I'm gonna have to go through everything. We had just a couple general public comments about events that I think have all already happened.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely have already happened. Usual committee or executive business. Yeah, okay. And then we talked a bit about some things that were still big conversations, so that's, and then another event that's already happened. No committee reports really. Okay, it was a pretty, I guess it was pretty low key meeting.
Well, 90 minutes of low-key meeting,
Yes.
So we approve that now?
right. Do a motion to approve.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Teresa moves, Paula seconds.
That's-
Let's vote by acclamation.
Yeah.
Done. Okay.
Yeah.
Treasurer's report.
Oh, you just had 1 month, or do you have 2 months? That-
No,
we
just
didn't-
one. We didn't
we
do
had,
that.
our meeting
Oh,
was
did we?
canceled last
Oh,
month.
that's right, I forgot, yes.
Okay, so
Wait, is there something that?
print out things.
Just.
So
Say, meeting canceled.
You want me to write something?
Mhm.
Yeah, sure.
Take one, whoops, thank you. Wait, take one of,
yeah, so that's the letter that talks about the rollover funds. And then this is our general admin packet. So I made a copy for everyone to see. And Paul and I talked about this a month ago when he kind of gave me my crash course in treasurer duties. And he brought up the fact that we look at the admin packet again sometime in the fall and decide if you still want the allotments, the monetary allotments
way
in
we
the
have it.
different categories, to either keep them the way that they are, or if we want to subtract or add or take anything away from that. And so, as the executive committee, how I understand it is we kind of take a look at it as it is and then make a recommendation to the larger board if we want to keep it or if they have suggestions.
Right.
Basically.
yes, so I.
So on page 8? Oh,
Yes.
sorry. Yeah,
But
that's-
all I posted for, because I don't have this,
Yeah.
I posted for our Zoom participants, the letter we got from the city clerk,
Yes.
and we have a rollover of $5,988.04, which means we add it to our budget.
Yes.
So now I'm gonna take it down.
Right, so we had that, and then 2,575 of that is an accrual for the tree project.
That's, and they encumbered, does that mean encumbered?
Yeah, that's separate.
Oh, is that separate?
It should be separate.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. I don't-
So I
Oh my
pulled up the
gosh.
letter here, and it says, because I figured, I anticipated this question. Adjustments had already been made along with any rollover funds to the NC's budget. The NC may resubmit the payment request for tree care LA during this coming fiscal year once they get the permits and the things that we need in order to make the request. Please note, if the project is not complete and payment to Tree Care LA is not made in this fiscal year, 23-24, the accrual will be reversed at the end. So we only have another year to get this done.
And that's the mistake we made by not paying, you don't know this, but last year, when Raheem worked on the, branding,
Yes.
there was an invoice for $1,500. That was never paid, and there was a complicated situation with that, and we lost that money. And I want to make sure that we,
That never happened.
yes, because he didn't get paid, and then we lost the money, so. So this, Laura,
Yeah,
sorry, Candace, if I could just ask a
Yeah,
question,
go
yeah. So the dollar amount,
Makes no sense.
because what did she put in?
It just makes no sense.
Okay, so what does it?
I'm saying, the annual budget's $32,000.
Yes.
If we roll over $5,988, let's just call it 6,000 for easy math.
Yeah.
And 2,575 is accrued, that comes out to 8,575, which gives us a budget of 40,575.
Right, which is kind of
We're
where we
right,
are.
because I was estimating.
Right.
So
yeah.
this letter makes no sense, but that does
Right,
see what we
but
have on
but
the
it does come up to that,
computer.
on the computer, right?
Got it.
And so the amount,
So-
what I have to ask is this, This
Let's,
is not
all their
the same,
adjustments make 0 sense.
Okay.
I don't even know what to say.
Okay, so we're gonna let Candace gonna work on that. I'd like, if we can, Candace, to talk about the adjustments to our administrative packet. Because there are a few things that we do know. So, are we going to have a training and a board retreat?
That is not on the agenda. Well, we have through July of 2024.
No. If we were to have a retreat, it would have to be completed by May.
By May of 20.
Yeah, because we can't spend money very easily in June.
Okay, well, it's nothing that I had thought about, but is it something?
Is it possible we could, when we have that celebration for Paul, can we call that a retreat or something?
Well, we just changed
I'm just trying to
change the word retreat to reception.
train,
That it won't be a training, but yes, it'll be a
Well,
board
retreat, it's a
reception.
board reception.
Yeah, in other words, instead of training and board retreat, let's just say reception.
And $500.
Exactly. Leave the
Change-
$500. Change the topic.
Okay, and we're just gonna call this reception.
just reception or board reception?
Board reception.
Well, it's a board reception, knowing that everything we do is open to the public.
Yes, okay, but, so we're
Board
gonna keep that
reception.
$500.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the next is facilities and related space rental, and Laura,
We don't need it. We've spent, no, well, we've already spent,
and that's
X.
2 insurance payments.
hang on, July was paid last year. So we paid for August, we paid for September. No, we didn't. We only paid for August.
Right, because September was free, not free, but the.
Then we
had been
had
worked out.
finally signed everything.
Right,
So
do you remember what that dollar amount?
326.
I just wanna make a note here. So,
And so at the moment, it does not look like we have facilities related and space rental for our governing board. The question is, or for this, the question is, do we want to have a facilities related and space rental, because maybe for the reception, we want to rent some space, or maybe for the emergency preparedness sessions, we need to rent some space.
why in the world can't we have them here at the South Seas House?
Well, are we gonna get it for free here at the South Seas House for special events?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
Right, that's what I'm
but-
saying. That's what I'm saying. We won't have to need insurance for the South Seas House, but would we need to pay a facilities fee?
I'm not sure, but I know in the past, that there's always money, and at the end of the year, we're like, how do we spend all this money?
That's true.
So,
No, well, I agree.
okay, so if I could just ask, no matter what we do, it's not gonna be $3,000.
Correct.
Right.
So then the question becomes,
We can
Yes.
reduce, but I think the point is, anything that's up here, all of this whole category called office operational expenditures
yes,
is above the line. And as long as we approve the admin packet, we then don't need standalone VACs. If we decide to, but in January, remember we did last year in January for the homeless count? What we did to provide food for the homeless count is we called an an extra special meeting for executive committee, had the meeting there and provided food. And we were able to do that from this above the line item without having a standalone BAC. Now, maybe we should have a standalone BAC for something like that.
maybe, I'm just trying to,
You're trying to find money to put somewhere else.
yes, and to not have $10,000 that we're at the end of the year
Right.
trying to rush and spend and buy things.
Right.
I know that outreach would like to get a canopy, outreach would like to get bags and some other things, and if we reduce these operational costs, then that means there's more
Well,
money.
but we have an additional $5,988 anyway.
Okay, right. Sarah, what do you, can I get some back from you, Sarah?
Have no.
I've had
I
my
do.
hand up for a minute.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, now we
Sorry,
see it. I'm
Dolores.
sorry. It was a teeny hand.
Sorry, Dolores. Go
Hi,
ahead.
everybody. You were talking about doing away with the retreat. Do we have officer elections next year? No?
No, there's no election.
No, there's no.
Okay. Okay, I didn't want you guys to forget that if you're talking about spending money.
Yeah, no, we don't have elections for next year. I mean, in other words, what we have is $3,600 standing aside for facilities related and space rental, which again is an above the line cost. And we're not going to be paying, luckily, insurance every month. It's all worked out with the city now. So we're not paying insurance anymore for governing board meetings.
Okay.
So that's gone. But I just don't know that we won't be paying insurance if we decide
Can we reduce it to $1,500?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're
I
gonna
think, yeah, we definitely don't need 36.
No, we don't.
Okay, so let's
Right.
reduce it to 1,500.
Because even when we have events, we don't have to rent a space. It'll either be where we have the meetings or here.
No,
We could have it somewhere
that's
else and
not,
maybe
that's
we
not
could
the
rent it.
case. I mean, it might be that we have it at Grace Conservatory or Dada or wherever, somebody else's, but then we would need to buy insurance.
Mm.
You see, that's the issue. I mean,
And one more thing. Oh, it froze.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask about communications and the mailing for Region 6. Where do I ask that? I don't see committee reports or anything on here. I want to know if the money has been spent.
well, it is,
Oh,
no,
gosh darn this. I
But
got
it's-
faulty internet.
we already voted the BAC for it.
Okay,
Oh, she didn't hear
has
us.
the money been?
It
Can you
might
hear
be-
us now?
It
Has
was nice,
Raheem
Dolores.
spent the money?
No.
No.
What's the?
Number four?
Um,
Dolores, Dolores, can you hear me?
Huh?
Yeah, no, Raheem hasn't spent the money, but can you just hold on like 10 minutes and we'll get to that section?
Well, I was asking, where should I ask about it? I don't see a spot on the agenda.
Maybe we could do it under committee
Yeah,
reports?
I have to have it. We have
Okay.
to have
Okay, thanks. All right.
it. Okay,
So when
Let's
you
get
go
back on
on the
track.
portal, this is.
the
all
portal,
that.
yeah, so
I
you need to
don't,
have.
I
this-
don't have this.
Well, you better,
thing.
you need to reach out to
So,
Paul because
I'll-
that's the most important
ahead.
thing.
Because he
Did you
shared
what?
with me
He
that the
doesn't- he doesn't-
spreadsheet is
the
the
Excel
thing that he
spreadsheet.
did, that's not. what
No,
the city has.
well-
That's not what the city.
So it's one that he
So,
created
I
on
gotta
his
talk
own?
to-
Well, no, Greg created it
Okay.
out of what Ethan had created. I mean, this is just
Okay,
something
so,
that's been
you know
passed.
what?
from
Create your
treasurer.
own,
Yeah.
create your own. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna email.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I mean, in other words,
Starting point.
Ethan used it,
It's in
Greg
here.
used it.
Yeah,
Paul
but
used
Is
Or
it
you-
in a,
it's
is
just
it in a big?
Well, it lists the detail, in other words, it's got the details,
Yeah.
we're just talking about the
No, I think
categories.
it's, no, I think it's fine.
Okay, let's keep moving. So is there anything else on the,
So government board meetings, so right now we spend about $200 per,
Right,
yes.
for food.
so that
Yeah.
just stays.
Right, and should we continue with that?
And this
Yeah.
is the
And the reason why I
reimbursement.
asked,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, because if we reduce, if we're able to start meeting, getting quorum via Zoom, we may have less people. I
That's true.
think we should
When-
keep it at $200,
Yes.
but.
Well, it's an average, because if we wanna have, on the other hand, in December, if we wanna have, like we used to do, a dinner at Wolfendale, we could spend more than $200, so let's
I
just,
just remember that during a meeting, when it exceeded $200, we had to do a BAC for that. Greg required us to do a BAC.
if we're doing a reimbursement, we always have to do also two BACs.
Even
First for the amount, second for the person to
Even if it's
reimburse.
200.
Even 200. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a
Okay.
different issue.
Okay, so we'll keep that at 2,400. Office equipment and supplies, Laura, did you? Where'd that number come from?
I don't
Or
know.
just leftover?
It's,
Okay.
it's a leftover number, I believe.
And this
well,
phone
the-
system, is that, we
I'm
get a
sorry?
monthly bill on that, the phone system?
No, it's an annual,
Okay.
and I paid it
And it's
recently.
$450?
something, yeah, something.
No, well, I mean,
No, I mean, I think it was 450, probably not an even number,
okay,
probably 463 or something.
okay.
And what does he have here, 450? So hopefully, well, it got approved, so whatever.
But it's already been paid.
It was paid in August.
And 7,800 for website, that includes
That-
and
It includes
And it's
Ann,
450, how much, go ahead.
it includes the fees to Ann as well as all of the different hosting and domain protection, all the stuff that is,
Oh.
Related to having a website.
And we get those, when do we get that?
When do we get bills?
Yeah, I mean, I see the
sends a-
450.
Yeah, she
No,
sends-
$450 a month is Ann.
Yeah,
Right.
she sends her invoice every.
Yeah, but you're asking when are we billed? I
Right.
think April, I think we just paid one as well in August. I think there was a little one in August. They're just billed through. They're
So we
billed.
never see those?
What do you mean?
Who approves those and when?
Well, we don't approve them, we just pay them. They're
Right,
on.
so the board doesn't see that we
Correct.
have an additional
Because it's
fee
in-
for this? Because it's in here, there's no
Because
way
we
for us
had
to see it.
detailed spreadsheet that we're not looking at. That's what's on the Excel spreadsheet, the details.
So if it just gets paid, so for example.
It's
when
not
Anna has-
passive, it's not like credit card.
That's what I'm saying, so
UNNC credit
it's,
card.
yeah, so it's renewing, so for
Right.
example, when Anna sends her invoice, that comes to me and I have to submit it in the portal.
Right.
So I think some of these smaller things may already be set up on the card, like public storage, I don't see that, but it comes through the portal. And
And it just-
Where is public storage on this list?
it is on,
That's what that's part
Program
of,
leases and agreements?
yes.
no, but in our budget,
Is that maybe part of
Part
the
of
facility?
The
it
space
must,
rental?
it might be, it just might be.
Mhm.
All right, so now we're back up to 3,600. We don't know, what is the monthly?
Right
fee?
now,
You said
well, it
it's
just
gonna
went up
increase?
to 236 a month, just this month, it went from 187 to 236. Oh, we're back to where we were.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
it's like,
and we're gonna base that through June, right?
yeah,
Oh, no, I'm asking, that's what we're, through June 30th.
right, but it might go up a little more. I mean, if they just wanna raise it by $40 just because without even a notice.
I just feel like I'm trying to understand the budget and all I'm getting is, well, this could change and that could change.
Well, that's right, that's why you have a budget that's higher than what you need.
No,
So
that's
we
why
don't-
we end up with $10,000 at the end of the year and we're trying to buy a whole bunch of gadgets and spend it on miscellaneous
Well,
nonsense.
that may be true, but it's also kind of life, because
No, I don't think so, Laura.
we won't know, well.
Wait, hold it.
Can I-
Go ahead,
Can I interject
Candace.
something? So what it sounds like is I need to reach out to Paul to get the detailed
Yes.
part. Because
Yes.
that's not something that just comes with the normal stuff that I'm doing. That's something,
Correct.
that's an additional layer of thing we did. So I'm not sure when exactly we have to resubmit this. He said somewhere in the fall. So can we do this? Can I get that from him?
Yes.
Can I also have a chance to talk to Anna and maybe clarify some of the rollover stuff, whatever? So then the next executive meeting, we can really see the detail.
Okay.
I'll be more clear on what exactly is in the thing. Because right now, this was just me kind of going through the portal and trying to figure out heads or tails, this is how much we spend, this is how much we're not,
Right.
without the detailed part
Oh,
of the
good.
part.
And
So-
we can modify the administrative packet anytime we want.
This is what he was saying.
Yeah,
So
and there are
once you
neighborhood
do.
councils who do it several times during the year,
Yeah,
so.
so this is what he said, that once the initial one was submitted, which we have, so this is the initial one that we're working on now. Let me get the detailed spreadsheet, and then also, now I understand, all right, now that's something that I have to keep up with as we keep.
One more thing, Candace.
Right, but that's, yeah, so that's not what we talked about, he's like, oh yeah, that's my spreadsheet, don't worry about it. So, I'm gonna start
Okay.
Only because we only have an hour and I
Right.
don't want y'all, everybody
No,
hungry.
no,
I
we
want to-
can't.
But-
We
but
got a lot to
I'll
go
come
over.
back, you
Right.
can't do this.
And there's one other thing, so Dolores, you're gonna be coming in with an an
Yes.
additional budget for outreach, correct?
Yeah.
So you'll
after
need,
we- After we have our next meeting, because all of us were assigned an assignment, and we're gonna come back at the next meeting, and then we'll probably be doing some funding requests.
right, so you'll also need to, if at the next executive, Candace is gonna be prepared to update our budget, you'll need to keep her real informed, because your meeting is like 12 days before
Oh.
executive. So loop her in real fast after your meeting,
Okay,
so that you have her, it's not just that, you don't wanna wait till you see the agenda item.
Gotcha,
Right.
right. So just, email me what
Right.
the request is and I can submit it.
Okay.
No, you can't
Or you
submit
can't
it.
submit it yet?
No, because it has to be approved by executive.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Laura's getting the
Right.
weeds.
Yeah,
Don't worry
I
about
said,
it.
It
Yeah.
could be
Right.
Y'all get it
presented,
together, just
presented
be like,
to us.
sit here.
Right. So the next executive will have a better picture on the budget, but
Yes.
it's also gonna have most likely a funding request. So the new budget needs to, assuming we like the funding request, reflect that funding request.
Right, I mean, I guess one other thing is if this is like the community grant request part, or is that?
Well, that's the thing,
No. You mean what, Dolores? No, it's not gonna be
that'd be.
Oh, it's extending the outreach budget.
Right, because right now, we don't have a lot. Well, I mean, see, no one's raised their hand and say, hey, I'll do a newsletter. So we actually do have a lot of money in outreach right now, because we have this extra $2,400 that does not appear to be devoted to a newsletter.
And either way, Candace,
Uh-huh.
even if it's not in this administrative packet,
That's what we're
Dolores could bring it to us, we approve it, bring it to a governing
And
board,
then
they
add it.
approve it. Right, and then we can make an
But
adjustment.
it'd be so much easier if you guys are working hand in glove.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, okay.
Okay, does she still have to present the July
Oh,
July.
monthly report?
No, we're done.
yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we're done with the
VACs,
MERs.
for those everything.
Okay.
We're good, we're good.
So,
You're ahead.
so now we're to Laura, I'm just moving
We
us.
are. The only question I have on attendance, I mean, we all know who's been attending our meetings, but remember, I would like to know who's been participating in our events. So did we have good board turnout for the movies at Leslie Shaw? I was not able to go, and I know you weren't.
No.
Does Dolores? can she come up?
Dolores, did we have good?
we had great turnout for Jasmine Avenues. And
Yeah.
just about everybody on the board participated, minus a few. And then for the movies in the park, we had 3, well, 2 that I know for sure. And a third one was supposed to come, but no one told me whether she did or not. Do you know? Well, you wouldn't know, you weren't there.
Right, that's why I'm asking who the 2 were that attended. I know who was at the music.
Diana Cooper came, and
Christopher,
Reed.
Oh, good,
For
okay.
movies in the park. And then I had a whole list for Jazz and Avenues.
Yeah, but I was I was there.
yeah.
Okay,
And we got those
And
pails.
Candace danced.
But it
We
looks
got those
attendance.
pails from Bureau of Sanitation. We had 50 ordered 50 pails from them. They delivered to my house, and Chris came and picked them up, and he said they were a big hit. They sold out. Well, not sold out, gave away all of those.
gave up.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So attendance where we're having problems is Show King is not attending, Jasmine is around.
Can you tell us exactly, she's missed 3 dates, what?
Show King attended she's only had 3 meetings to attend. She attended the first one, she attended the second on Zoom, so technically it doesn't count,
She did come in person.
not to the second meeting.
Is that when we had the meeting with
First meeting.
Heather Hutt?
It was the first meeting she came in person, second meeting she attended on Zoom, and the third meeting she did not attend at all.
So she's missed 2 meetings.
Technically, she has missed, yes.
Well, that's the only thing we care about, the technical, because
Correct.
she's missed 2 meetings.
She has.
Okay.
And
And
every,
at the third one, then it's contact.
Well,
Right,
the
that's a
bigger problem
concern.
is she hasn't finished her training.
And we're gonna get to that next, because I
Right.
took a look at your documentation.
Right.
So who else on
I
attendance?
need to look at the names on the, I'm sorry, I have to look at the names on the documentation, because I did not bring the attendance with me because I wasn't gonna have this conversation.
Well, it's on
Maria,
the agenda, Laura, that's the only reason I'm bringing it up.
I understand.
Okay.
I also understand that I thought we were gonna push through real quickly. So Nuriel is not had good attendance. I'm just gonna say this.
No. I'm
I'm
just
not
asking about the
giving
two people who, who's on the verge, that's what I'm asking.
Raheem, Nuriel,
But Noriel was at the last meeting.
but he missed two right before that.
He also said he was traveling, I mean.
Right,
pretty
yeah,
much
in
got
other words,
people are out of town.
Chris Carlson missed two, and I'm not going back too early. Those are the.
Yeah, but they
But they
missed,
were
but then they
excused. Were
attended.
they excused?
Okay, guys, I don't define them as fully excused.
That's what we need to determine.
Right, because Show King emailed to let us know she wasn't coming, but it was for her birthday.
She's out of town for her birthday.
So she was physically not here.
Here's my thing, we
But-
can't even fill the board, so making it really stringent does not help us. That's where I keep going back to,
Well, it doesn't help us, I agree, but we need to set a goal.
sure, we
As well.
can have a conversation, but I think especially if we want,
I know.
People to participate and live
especially
their
people who
lives.
have busy, younger generations they would rather just not show up if they're gonna be told, well, so I think you gotta be really careful, is my point, if we
Yes.
want participation.
I would just like to know what the expectations are and what the boundaries are, what it is.
Okay,
Whatever
so
that is, if
I
we're gonna be lenient or we're not, I'd just like to know so I can have a better
I
understanding.
think that is also the reason, and I don't know how to magically fix this, but I think that was the reason that Greg was always trying to fill all the seats, because from what I understood, and Paula can correct me if I'm wrong, basically if somebody let him know they couldn't make it, they were excused. Now, that was,
That's kind of the way it's.
and I kind of appreciate that because I don't feel like I used that. I used it once because I needed to not be here, but I didn't have a role
Let
when
me tell
I.
you what the bylaws actually say.
Okay,
So there's unexcused, and there's just also consecutive absences regardless of excuse. And there's also a pattern, I don't say this, the thing they don't say is a pattern of absence.
Okay, if it's not in the
So,
bylaws,
I understand.
can I also point out, all of this might be moot if we're able to have hybrid meetings.
That's right.
Because if people convert, Nuriel would have been able to make it because he was out of town basically most of the
Yeah,
summer.
but guess what? Tree's gonna be pissed off that I said, I've been reading the darn legislation. It says you have to be within the county of LA. So if you're to count,
What are we gonna do? We're gonna
Gonna
say,
interrogate
oh,
people?
can you please tell me, what's that background? It looks like you're, in a
Europe.
meeting. Yeah.
With all that in mind, and since it's past 8:00 and we don't know what
Okay.
SB 411 is gonna be,
okay,
I think reaching out to people who've missed and just keeping it light,
Right.
encouraging. This does not need to be draconian. I'm not saying if they want it to be, but
no, I
And
understand.
then, if I could just
Yeah.
say, we have bylaws, Sarah, I understand what you're saying, we have bylaws for a reason, and if we don't follow them, then why even have them? And we need to really think about when we nurture people, and we appoint them or they wanna run, we say, hey, here's the expectation, and it's a lot of work, and this is what you're gonna have to attend these meetings, you're gonna have to be on a committee. But you're right, let's just table this and let's have a further discussion on it.
Right,
This definitely needs to be discussed further.
right.
And, it's not in here.
Okay, and in terms of the training, the snapshot that we have has not been updated. So, and it hasn't, it just hasn't been updated for 2 weeks. And I looked again today.
So we do know that if you haven't taken a code of ethics, that Dunn will send you a letter and remove you like they did
Code
that
of conduct.
code of conduct, like
Right.
what happened with Diana Cooper.
Right.
So the couple of people who haven't done that, we don't have to
Well,
worry.
there's
about
only one person who hasn't done that, and that's Raheem.
Oh, I
And
thought
even
it
though
was,
he told, well, it hasn't been updated.
Okay, all right.
He did tell me he was gonna do it. It hasn't been updated, so I have to get back on the phone with him because he also didn't send me his certificate. Chris, however, why I know it's really not updated, she did finish all of her training. I do have the certificates, but it's not updated.
Okay.
So it's annoying.
So anybody else on training that we,
It shows that I'm about to expire on funding. I'm not, I took the officer's funding, but I have to get that paperwork.
Okay, but the procedure is, Laura, is that even if Dunn has not updated the website, when our board members take the exam or test or whatever it is, and it
They're to
says
send me,
completed at the end, they're supposed to send a copy of it to you.
Of the
like I
certificate.
just said.
Yeah.
Like I just said. So I have Chris's certificates. I do not have one from Raheem, even though he said he was gonna do it. Just the code of conduct.
Okay,
So I have to reach out to him again before Dunn
Yes.
kicks him off the board,
unless he already did it.
unless they've already kicked him
Yeah.
off the board or he's already done it.
Okay,
Okay, president's report.
the celebration. I did find out from John and Lizzie, Greg and Paul, when they joined UNNC, what positions they held. And I would like to now submit this to have certificates prepared, but is Raheem still doing certificates?
He never really was. It used to be the city would do it for us. I wonder if they still would.
Okay,
could we go through the
Yeah.
district?
yeah, okay.
Because those are
Yeah,
fancy,
that's a good
fancy
idea.
desks.
Could we have the council?
Yeah, okay, that's a good
So
idea.
maybe ask Eric,
Yeah,
Yeah.
our favorite
our
Eric.
favorite deputy.
Okay, field deputy. Okay, the handbook is completed. I showed that to you. I was just looking though.
We do need to get the new branding on there though.
Yes, but, and so now how do we use this? I was thinking, as we get new people on the board, to share it with them. Do you have any thoughts on that? Now that we have this handbook?
Well, if we were to have a board retreat, which I think there's no enthusiasm for, we hand it out there. But since we aren't, you would share it with the board
Well, we
member.
could still share it. We could still
And we
share it.
may have a board retreat, I mean, we
Yeah.
have funding on that.
Yeah, Okay.
What we did before was those that wanted a hard copy, they were given a hard copy, and those that wanted it digital, they got the digital copy.
okay.
Do we have all this?
I don't know, but we could get it.
If it was made to a PDF, it was made for a PDF,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I've got it, yeah, so I could forward
I
it,
mean, maybe
yes.
we could put them on our USBs and hand them out to people as a,
I was
as a
gonna,
little
yeah,
gift.
and I can send you the logo and we can get it on there.
Okay,
So we can-
okay, now, this was,
I did, but it'll take long, so I was like.
oh, I had this added, so Laura, what is this?
The bylaws?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got an email from our Dunn rep,
Mm-hmm,
Alfonso, saying essentially the period of time, so neighborhood councils can't just decide to redo their bylaws. There's a period of time where the clock starts and then the clock ends. So the clock started on a new period of time to revise bylaws.
okay,
The clock ends April 1, so if we were to want to do anything, now remember, we did a big effort just recently. But if we were to want to do anything at all, that means we'd have to vote at the March board meeting to finalize whatever we're submitting, because April 1 comes before our board meeting of April. And the question would really be, is there anything that we missed? But one of the things he had mentioned, now I have forgotten. Well, he had mentioned two things that might be of interest. One was, do we want to take up yet again, I'm guessing the answer is no, how we make, he called it how you make decisions, but what that has to do is how do abstentions count? There's 9 different choices. It's very complicated. So how the choice UNNC made some years ago was that if you abstain, if you have a quorum of 13 present, but 3 people abstain, one way to handle the resulting vote is you've got 10 people who voted, and if 6 voted one way and 4 voted another way, 6 win. That's not the way we do it. The way we do it is regardless of how many people abstain, you have to have a majority of the
Yes.
number of people in the room.
Majority.
So if you happen to have 13 people in the room, then 7
Yeah.
people have to vote in
Yes.
favor of the motion. So
Okay.
in effect, abstentions count as no.
Which I
So-
think, if I remember correctly, is Robert's Rules of Order, isn't it?
Well,
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
yeah, so that's one thing you
that's
change.
how we've had it for a long time.
Forever.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
makes sense.
I feel.
Right, so we don't, so that's one thing he brought up. And there was one other thing that I'm already forgetting. So there was only one thing that seemed relevant to me. I just don't even know if it was terribly important. I can't access the email at the moment.
Right.
Good.
But I would, if we were to form like an ad hoc to go back and make some minor changes, I would request that we not make appointments during an election year. If we have an election, people have to run. We're not gonna appoint people when
Yeah,
they
I-
can.
What if
You know
we have
what?
too many slots open?
Yeah, I think you're not, that wouldn't.
That would be my only concern, because
Yeah.
there've been times, I mean, I haven't even been on the board that long, but there've been times when we basically couldn't have met because we had so many
Right.
slots open.
Right.
You mean vacancies?
Yes.
Between vacancies and people who were basically already resigning because they couldn't make it to meetings.
Right, so,
So at that point, you have to make appointments.
yeah,
It's not
I don't know,
elected.
I still,
Well, I
I
know
think it
you-
is wrong.
well,
and
I
it-
feel-
And what
it's hard
happens
to
during
know.
that, and we just experienced this, we appointed people who didn't show up, who were not committed. One person got, it didn't seem to be very.
I'm always gonna defend the appointees because I was an appointee.
Oh,
yeah.
So,
I'm
I'm
not
just
saying it's
saying,
committed to you.
but I'm just
as-
saying.
It's, but here's the thing, I'm not sure even that Dunn would allow that one to go in.
They would. I mean, well, we would ask, and when I mentioned it to Gibson, because I was very upset that in an election year, we would make appointments, preventing people from having to run, to go out to their communities saying, hey, vote me, take the easy way out and just have some people appoint them.
Okay,
Okay.
but
anyway,
but I.
That would be my only request, I think.
Right, but I'm not sure you're gonna get 2/3 of the board to agree with that anyway,
Well, we
not that you
don't-
can't try.
We don't know that.
Well, we don't.
Because it's a salient argument. I
Mhm.
mean, when it's presented, it does make sense. Why would that happen? But
Well, right, and the reason Greg wanted so desperately.
this isn't
to
about
do it
Greg.
Well, so.
Yeah, but
as-
the
so
reason
I'll
we
say this,
use
as-
that
as
process-
one-
is because we
right,
weren't gonna have quorum
And-
otherwise.
Right, and this is what he and I talked about during the appointment process, and it was kind of like, okay, so, because I was already thinking about running for it, he just didn't take
You
my-
had
didn't
already-
take my name off the ballot.
You had filed to run.
Yeah, I did, but the other part was, he was saying to Sarah's point, like, the quorum wasn't there, so if he didn't appoint me, I think he said at the time where I was supposed to be appointed the first time, like, y'all couldn't even meet because there wasn't enough people to do it. So is there a way that, is it okay to not meet for several months until the
It's
people
bad
are
to do
elected?
that.
Yes,
but-
it's bad.
But what I believe would happen is that somebody would be like, what the hell's going over on at UNNC that they can't have any meetings? I'm gonna run for the board to help straighten them out. There would be some uprising from the
Oh,
community
because
to say,
there's no
hey,
meeting.
what's happening here? But
I can,
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
I don't think so, but.
I think people are just so busy that, and this
Okay.
is, it's a
Now,
totally different world.
right now,
Okay.
we have 4 vacancies, is that correct?
We do,
We have John Arnold's seat,
right,
we have Paul King's seat, we have Greg Jackson's seat, and we have Lizzie's seat.
correct.
I thought I only saw 3, but
We have
4.
Because you only saw 3 because they haven't updated our roster either. Alfonso emailed me and saying, hey, I need a copy of the roster, and it's like, hey.
Okay,
But-
let's keep going.
Okay, so here, I'm sorry, I pulled up the email. The one we talked about tonight already, about absences, that was the other one that seemed to make some sense. He was saying a lot of NCs don't have, for excused absences, our recommendation is that you provide a definition of
Yes.
non-excused
Yes.
absence. So
Yeah,
that was the one that may have made sense to maybe open up the process. I
Because right now it's arbitrary, right?
Correct. And, but I would, so my comment, so I repeat, my comment is that we're done. No, my comment on your concerns, Teresa, or your idea, I would be really reluctant to put in bylaws, rules like that, that 4 years from now or 6 years from now, when none of us are on the board, tie the hands of the future board. I would rather
We
have it
can
in our
amend it.
standing rules, which are so easily amended.
yes.
I'm
That's just my personal, the
But
bylaws
I'm
are
gonna
hard
relate
to
to Sarah.
amend.
on this, and I really think it should be at the discretion of the vice president who.
No, I'm talking about appointments, not the absences.
Okay.
Back to your point, I'd rather see that maybe go in the standing rules than the bylaws.
The bylaws can be done every couple of years. We just did our bylaws.
Yeah, and the standing
Hold on,
laws can be
hold on.
done once a month.
And we're just now being asked to do it again, right? So it won't be 6 years that someone's gonna think, oh, well, look, blah, blah, blah. They can make the same changes like we've
Well,
just done.
it's-
But does it make a difference?
Yeah.
If
You're
no-
just
Okay,
assuming
I
that
do,
they'll do
I
it
do
very
think we
often.
need to have a definition of excused absences.
Right. I agree.
And, you know, so that's a discussion that needs to happen. When can that happen?
Well, we need to, once again, look at our own bylaws, sadly not tonight, to see how we initiate, because that's one of the things we did last time, was redefine how to initiate
Is that your
bylaws
phone,
change.
Paula?
No, it's my pocket.
Oh, I was gonna say, I don't think so.
It's me. So we did address how to initiate bylaws changes. So
Okay.
that's in the bylaws.
Yes, but we were talking about we can make it a part of standing rules. I like that idea.
Well,
For
for
the
absences.
definition of excused absences.
That's another thing.
In the standing rules.
Yeah.
But it's something we need to do, because right now that's just kind of like a,
Amorphous.
Yeah.
Okay,
okay.
so let's
So
think
is this
about that.
something, when can we next discuss this?
Well, if we're gonna make a recommendation to potentially adjust the standing rules,
Mm-hmm.
we need to have a agenda item to do that.
Okay,
It's not off, I mean, so
So the
so
executive
that,
for next month.
right.
Okay.
okay, thank you.
it's not on this agenda.
Okay, moving on.
Okay,
Item 4,
Yeah.
discussion and possible recommendation
yeah,
of
regarding.
SB 411.
SB 411. So, and the person who asked us to agendize, this is not present, that would be Marielle. But we had talked about it at the board meeting that we would do it here tonight. So basically, the italicized piece on the agenda is the language excerpted from the new law. And so this bill would authorize an eligible legislative body, that would be a neighborhood council in Los Angeles. That's the only eligible legislative bodies covered by this law.
Okay,
That starting soon until January 1st, 2026, to use alternate teleconferencing provisions, blah, 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 what we're already doing, hybrid. It would authorize us to do, in part, what we are currently doing, the hybrid Zoom, or 100% Zoom.
the difference would be though, then their attendance would count
And they can vote,
Correct.
right?
and they can
Yes.
vote.
Correct. If the city council has also adopted an authorizing resolution and 2/3 of an eligible legislative body, that would be back to, that's the neighborhood council, 2/3 of the neighborhood council votes to use the alternative teleconferencing provisions. And it still requires that at least a quorum of the members of the neighborhood council participate from locations within the boundaries of the city. I understand that we might not know that a person
And we don't,
is
and
in
we won't care.
Greece.
We won't care.
Well, we're gonna officially
You guys
care.
just-
We're going to officially care, but we might not ask.
Right. I mean, that's, to
Okay.
me, I won't care if someone's participating in the meeting, it was
It's like, good to
irrelevant.
see you.
Right, you guys just argued about the importance of having,
No,
right,
no, I
so what
understand,
difference does it make?
but I'm saying, well, it makes a difference because there's this
But we
law
won't
that says
know.
it makes a difference.
May I ask if the governor hasn't signed it yet, and then it sounds like there's still another step of the city council doing something?
Correct.
we're discussing it because we may need to submit something to the city council in support of them,
Yeah.
supporting
But they-
this. And there was another point that you had to that, Laura, that, because I said maybe we need to give Heather Hutt language for,
Right, but first we need to have consensus, because as I read this really carefully, remember, we're down 4 board members.
Yeah.
So we're down to 19. Of that number, 2/3 has to be an agreement of what we're doing.
Which means 2/3 have to be in the meeting to vote.
Correct.
Oh my goodness.
Correct.
Hold on.
So that's before we're hybrid. You see what I'm saying? We haven't had a meeting with 2/3.
well, we've been hybrid. I mean,
No, you know what I
no,
mean.
no.
Hybrid with voting.
We haven't had, is it 16? Is our number 16 or 17 to make 2/3? 2/3 of 23 is,
Oh, 2/3 of 23? That's right.
it's 2/3 of 23.
Oh, yeah, for vacancies.
Yeah, so we need to get those vacancies, get that handled too. Meaning if we have a consensus, we don't have a problem, just as long as we have enough people in the room. But if people are not even in agreement about the
16.
path forward, it's 16.
It's over 15.
So we need to be in agreement as to the path forward too.
Okay, so here are the 3 options that I thought we could present or we can try to get consensus on. 1, that we will continue hybrid meetings, allowing quorum to be established with the people participating via Zoom. 2, we can require only in person. And 3, we can require only Zoom.
Yeah, so I
And
feel.
Yeah, and I think the first choice is what a lot of people, it sounded like in the meeting,
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah.
The problem is 16 people from our board have to vote that. And
And
we haven't
in
even had
person.
16 show
Yes.
up.
Okay, except for,
Yeah, no, we'd have to do a
We'd have to
big call
really
out and
push,
just
yeah.
say, you all.
You wanna
need to
have,
be-
if you wanna be able to do Zoom and hybrid meetings,
Then you better show up
Yeah.
to a
it
meeting.
needs, I wish we'd known about,
So-
have done that Heather.
It's on the,
Oh, but yeah, but.
Will
It's
that
on
be
the
on
notice,
we can
He
do?
hasn't-
He hasn't signed
he
it.
has until the end of the month to sign.
Yes.
So
But
that's,
or
if he
veto
doesn't
it.
sign it, then it automatically goes through.
Right, 12 days.
either veto
Yeah,
it
yeah,
or
yeah.
12 days.
Yes.
12
He
days.
I
doesn't have to
read
sign it,
that.
it goes up through
Yes.
automatically.
Yes,
Yes.
He has 12 days to veto it or sign it,
or
but if
sign
he
it.
doesn't, then it
Then it
automatically.
And it automatically
That's the
passes.
power of the legislature. But
Yes.
I think he's gonna sign it. I
But
mean,
you're
I-
saying
well-
even once he signs it,
There's
then
still more
LA
city
has
council.
to do the further part.
There's
So
many
when
more
does it get
steps.
to the point of us having 16 votes?
So hold on. So when it gets to city council, it has to go through, I mean, they might be able to take it directly to the council, but the normal process is to go to the committee, the neighborhood committee of blah, 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 and that's where they would.
And trust me, they don't prioritize neighborhood councils above other issues pending.
No,
They're
but
not
this
gonna-
is, no, and Heather Hutt used to be, she may still be on that committee.
She's not the chair though, because she chairs
No.
transportation.
But that's why we have advocacy, and why we tell Eric, everybody knows there are people who cannot have meetings because they can't get quorum.
Yeah.
So I think it's a priority for
The
them.
emergency clause, it'll take effect in January regardless.
No, this takes effect, it takes effect right away.
Yeah.
However, it only takes effect in Los Angeles for real if the city council itself votes to authorize.
So-
Yes.
So can we recommend that we take option 1
Yeah.
and write a letter to Heather Hutt according, in
Well,
that vein?
Here, this is what I would suggest. Number 1, we do we're gonna do 2 motions perhaps. 1 is a community impact statement. This does not require 16 people, it just requires the
There you go.
majority of the people in the room. So for sure, we schedule for the October meeting, the first thing, a community impact
Which
statement.
October meeting? The governing?
Governing
meeting?
board.
Okay.
That urging the city council to adopt the resolution
Mhm.
allowing neighborhood councils to do this.
Okay.
So that's a basic community impact statement. It just requires our normal procedures with a quorum of 13. Then the next action item, whether it's October or November, you want October, but if we don't have quorum, don't have 16 people.
Yes, but that's when
No, it's 2 different things.
I know,
We
but-
need to.
we would say to everybody,
We've
and
got-
we would call,
yeah,
and I
we've got,
would
what,
call
2
and say,
weeks?
hey, here's
No,
what we're trying to do.
I understand, it's just 2 separate items.
Okay, but what is the second item?
The second item is the
vote,
actual,
therefore.
Approving this. this before the-
2/3 of an eligible legislative body,
Okay.
that'd be us,
Okay,
votes to use the alternate teleconferencing provisions, that's the motion.
okay,
That's
Yeah.
different than a community
We
impact
need,
statement.
so we need
Okay.
email to all the members, calls, whatever,
Calls.
pleading with them to finish
Right.
trainings
Oh,
and be
yes,
at the meeting,
because they have
because they
to be
can't
able to
vote
vote.
if they're not, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, or we could do it in November, but this is what I'm saying, when
I think
people,
we
we
should try
haven't
to do
set
it
the
in October.
expectation
I know.
high, now we're in a bad place,
I
we
understand.
can't even move forward,
yeah,
so.
yeah, okay.
Well, we can't move forward to forgive everybody from attending the meetings. We can move forward and continue our hybrid that we're doing. We just will have to be 13 people in the room until we are able to not be 13 people in the room.
Okay, so let's move on.
Okay. So that's the path, so we'll have both items on the agenda, 2 different motions on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay.
But we could start calling, I could start calling. We could start emailing people now.
Right.
Okay, so I'm agreeing to do that, and you're agreeing to do this?
Yeah, fine, I'll do it. How many people?
No, do you want to?
Well, let me just ask this for a second.
Okay,
Where are we with the training right now? I mean, how many people are we gonna have to make sure get their training to allow them to
Okay.
vote?
Show King has to get her training. Raheem has to get his training, and he expires,
Okay,
no, he'll be okay if he does his code of conduct to vote in October. He will not be okay if we defer it to November if he doesn't retake his ethics.
okay,
okay.
just let's look at October. So
Right.
Shoking and Raheem, and that's it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll call
We're
people.
good.
And I will.
Okay, well,
Especially
just
since I'm
get-
doing the technology.
Yeah.
I can say to people, hey, we need you to vote because I
Yeah.
can't, you know.
We want to show up at the meeting.
Yeah.
Call and email.
Show up at the
Okay.
And I think it sounds like most people want the option to, if they need to, zoom in,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
Yes,
So,
I certainly consider that today.
Well, right, but I would say this, Paula, I feel like, that's fine, I feel like if you're gonna be an officer of the neighborhood council, you're gonna need to do the best way you can, be in person and not on Zoom at our board meetings, as best you.
Okay, but that's
But
adding on.
that's just a,
Okay,
procedure.
okay.
That's not a motion, I'm
Let's-
just saying
okay.
okay.
that, okay.
Yes,
Okay, the next item is 2 different motions that Lank has forwarded to all the neighborhood councils. One is, we'll just start with the first one. It's a community impact statement. They're proposing that we all the neighborhood councils around the city call on the city council to address the appearance of collusion and corruption in the city council's rejection of the appointment of Jamie York as an ethics commissioner. And I'll tell you what the fact that they didn't approve her also meant the ethics commission itself can't meet because there is no quorum.
I'm not gonna support this, so I don't know if that means anything right now, and we can keep going, or does anybody else have an opinion on that?
Well,
I don't know anything about it.
I think we have to start with.
just talk about it.
Yeah, no, I can talk about it. Jamie York is a person, she's with the Reseda Neighborhood Council, I believe, somewhere in the valley.
Rashida.
And she is an individual who has done a lot of work, kind of investigating done, and she's been very active on her own neighborhood council. The city controller has an appointment to the ethics commission, so different city entities get to make appointments, but the city council always confirms, whether it's a mayor's appointment or a council district appointment, those appointments are confirmed usually by the city council. So the day this was on the city council agenda, Jamie showed up to be confirmed, and instead, without any discussion, the entire city council voted no, to not confirm her, with no explanation, no discussion. And the several issues, one is, now the commission still has no quorum, so they can't meet, the ethics commission. 2 is it has the appearance, that's what they're saying, appearance of collusion, that they talked about it in advance.
Do we have to have an opinion on this?
We do not.
As a neighborhood council? I think
Yeah,
we
I
should
don't
stay
think-
out of this.
Okay, and I will just say that, she's been very, very vocal. So we didn't have, if we all experience the same thing, we don't have to get together to it's not collusion if we all have the same opinion, we vote no. And the entire city council voted no. So it wasn't like she had one board member, even the very progressive council members did not support her. So I agree with you, we should just stay out of this. Okay.
All right, so the motion is to,
No, we don't need.
Not trying to do anything.
no opinion. All right, and.
So then the second one,
Mhm.
first glance doesn't affect, it's like, why do we care? A lot of the city neighborhood councils have been unable to find places to meet. And this is a request that we write a letter to the acting general manager of Dunn, as well as his deputy mayor, and do a CIS if we can, but essentially asking for help for neighborhood councils to find appropriate spaces to meet and to immediately convene an open meeting to brainstorm ideas. So, I read that at first, I thought, but then I read the note below.
And this was their note.
This is their note. I just copied and pasted. Please note that Council File 02-0090 was approved by the City Council to, 1, instruct all city departments to offer meeting facilities to NCs free of charge for official meetings, and 2, then done is to create a list. So you may be aware that we had an issue right here in this very room, and that the City Council District 10 has been forced to pay for all of the meetings of the HPOZ and neighborhood council, and apparently it's supposed to be free.
Right, but the reason why, just to be clear, is because there used to be evening classes here, and now there are no longer classes. So RAP has to pay staff to host this meeting. So it could be that this is a fee that should have been absorbed by RAP and not put on the council district.
As it had in the past.
Right.
Because there were not always evening classes when we had meetings like this in this room. So I thought, well, that is kind of interesting after all. And maybe we should write a letter, not necessarily to Vanessa Serrano, but.
And neighborhood councils were relatively new in 2002, because ours is only 20
It was
years old,
part of
right?
the whole
Yeah.
authorization of neighborhood council.
I'm for sending this to governing board, yeah.
Yeah,
And this is CIS, right, Laura?
correct. And
Okay.
we would look up Council File 02-0090 and
Yeah, I can look
do an
that up.
actual
Okay.
proposed CIS.
Okay.
I'm not
Only make
invited.
it personal to us.
It's a letter regarding CF though, is it
Well,
CIS?
We can do a resolution and community impact statement and
I
figure
don't
out
care, I
if
just
it's, figure out if it is or isn't uploadable, I don't know.
Okay.
And who's doing this? Who's the we?
I'll look up, get the
Yeah,
file information.
We are gonna.
Laura's gonna write it.
Okay. Okay, moving on.
But I will get the
Yes,
file
okay.
information.
Item 6, so theoretically, at the October meeting, UNNC appoints its committee chairs and alliance representatives. Well, we do it on an annual basis, so we're at that time of year. So do we want to discuss exactly how, are the requirements for committee chairs and the alliance representatives? Or do we just kind of throw it out there?
Well, we don't throw it out. What we've done in the past is that we would say, for instance, recreation and parks, Doreen stepped down. Was anybody interested in being the chairperson?
Yeah.
And then that last year, Donna Jones and I said we would like to take this over. And then this year, Donna and I are gonna step down if there's somebody who could be interested, or because we have.
You're too busy.
Yeah, and we just
Okay.
did it because there was no one and we have a park in our area.
Okay.
So the question is, and this is what I brought up to Laura, if there are committees, and well, I'm not interested in doing anything else that I'm doing, so I'm gonna use myself. Laura and John share the planning and land use.
Yes.
If I was interested in chairing that committee, I don't have an avenue to do that. So by presenting that every year, that is an availability, I can write a statement, ask the board to appoint me because I'm blah, 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 and then the board could make the determination to pick Laura or to pick me. So, or who they feel can chair that committee the best. And we have a couple of committees. I know Ed Sanders has talked about wanting to chair the economic committee.
Yes.
Maybe there's somebody else who'd like to take on that. So this would be an opportunity to say we're going to reestablish this committee if there's someone interested. It gives them an opportunity. But if there are
Well, it is an
committees-
opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
This session is an opportunity to reestablish.
So at the October meeting, just throw it out there that.
Well,
these
we have the
committees
list, so
will
we
be-
can
Yeah,
go down
The list,
committee to
yeah,
committee.
issue the list of
But
committees and
People
who's
need to
currently
know
chairing.
beforehand
Yes.
that they need to have a little personal statement or
Yeah.
something if they want to
Yeah.
chair a committee.
Okay,
Right.
But I do think that we have ingrained committees that no one has an opportunity to chair.
Well, and I know, I disagree only because yes, we're ingrained. I mean, I think if someone said to John, I'd like to take your spot on the planning and zoning committee,
not taking
John
a
would
spot.
say, no, John would say, be my guest, that's
Yeah.
what John would say.
But Laura wouldn't say that.
But Laura would not, yes.
I
But-
just think
but
that no
our-
one knows that it's even a possibility to chair a committee, to chair the planning and land use committee. No one knows.
Yeah, but you're making it singular, and my real point was that in the past, we have had as many as 3 co-chairs. You know, it's not really been a thing where we wanna unseat people, we wanna.
We're
add
not
the
trying to
opportunity.
unseat.
Well,
We're
you're
just
This
trying to-
also might be where we can bring in new members
Right.
who haven't really found a spot for themselves yet.
yes,
Right,
So it's a
Yes.
good timing, yeah.
yes,
right.
okay.
Yeah, the other comment I wanna make about that is if you're going to chair a committee, and that means you're gonna have to kind of manage your technology. So,
Okay.
yeah, so.
Good president.
Well,
You know, or you have a partner
It
that
makes
can do it, or we can talk about having
Yeah.
someone who's willing to attend the meetings and just do the technology.
right, but we do need to resolve it because Teresa and I
Yeah.
have been doing all of it.
Yeah, it's not fair.
And if we have if SB 411 passes, then now, if you chair a committee, you can say, I want my committee just to be Zoom.
Mm-hmm,
And now you don't have to worry about trying to come in, you can just conduct your entire meeting via Zoom. And I think that should be an option left up to each chairperson.
mm-hmm.
Even though I like the idea of everybody coming in because it supports the South Seas House and it's staffing and blah, blah, blah. It really should be, I think, and it would be an option that you take for the full year. You can't, like, one meeting in person or hybrid. It would just be all my meetings for my chairmanship are gonna be for the year.
Well, and I think, well, the question would be, is it up to the chair or does the board, as a part of the approval, approve that proposal or approve the proposal? I mean, I'm just
The
throwing this
governing
out.
board.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just throwing this out. I don't, I mean, I'm certain that, assuming John and I do stay on as co-chairs, that we'd want planning to be hybrid. This is working out really nicely.
That may be an ongoing conversation just because we don't know what's going to happen.
What was I
Right.
gonna say?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, that may not be something we can put in place for this term, you know what I'm saying? But
Because I don't know if there'd ever be a committee that wanted to be only in person, for example. But
I think
real,
those days are gone.
but my real question is, does the board have approval or only the chair as to how a committee proceeds forward? And I don't have an answer to the question.
Probably legally they do, that's what I was gonna say, but the committees pretty much have run themselves,
Mhm,
other than just reporting back to us.
correct,
There's been no
over the years,
oversight or
right?
demands made of them. So that's been our practice.
I really should remember to turn my phone off. So we will have that as an agenda item, meaning appoint committee chairs, co-chairs, and alliance representatives. So the alliance representatives, the only 2 really active ones, 3 that we have right now, maybe 4, is Dorit is still doing South LA.
She
Alliance.
asked,
Yes,
Is
yes,
she?
yes,
Oh,
absolutely. And we
she never reports back, so how do we know what's happening?
yeah, we don't.
Well, that's the point. Maybe we need to ask more often for those reports.
Yeah,
Anyway, Dennis Lesky does emergency prep.
yes, that we know.
Elizabeth does NCSA, Sustainability Alliance.
And she doesn't report back either.
Well, she reports back at the committee, but not to the board. And you're right, she should report to the board. And I do plan check, and I don't report that often either to the whole of the board because I report to the committee. So that's a good question. How do we get those aligned, if you're gonna be a rep? And then one of the ones we haven't staffed since Hugo Rodriguez left, which is budget reps, and that's kind of really important. And not only that, I hate to tell you, not only that, if we continue to not appoint, we're gonna get an email at some point saying, well, by default, Paula and Candace are our budget reps.
I already get those
Ed's interested in the financial
for
stuff.
the budget rep.
Ed was
Yeah.
interested in
Oh, Ed.
financial stuff, I don't know if that's something. that-
Right, but I mean, but we can appoint 2 budget reps. And the default would be if we don't, is treasurer and president.
I feel like
You
it
start
makes
recruiting people?
sense to me, because this is still all a learning process
Yeah,
for me,
right.
so.
Don't
I
add anything
wouldn't-
else.
No, I'm not saying you shouldn't, I'm just saying.
She's just saying you
Can I
need
just
to.
have a seat? Do
You
I
need
have to
to.
report back? But I do think it's good because if they give you like tips and tricks or like explain it more, like I'm going to the Congress thing on Saturday. So I think they have a budget thing, so I'm gonna go
They
to that.
probably do have budget.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go to
probably
that,
there.
but
Well, then you can get a
not
taste
shoot
of it.
myself in the foot, but
Well,
I would like to learn, cause it helps
can
me
I just say
understand this
this?
more.
budget reps
Yeah.
is not a hard rep position.
Okay.
But then the budget reps get together by region and they vote for budget advocate. And then the budget advocates meet with every city department and the mayor and everybody else and help in the budget process.
So I got an email about.
That's very cool. That's why Hugo wanted to do it, because he's got goals. But, you know, in the end. Okay, so that's one of the reps that does need to be appointed. You
Okay,
know, we could probably skip a lot of the alliances, but we should probably look at the 5 that I mentioned.
But if we send that out, specifically, and not just say, check out the agenda packet, but we say here, and this is where we're gonna be doing, please review, so.
Review the committees, review the alliances,
Yes.
you know, and we
or send
don't,
it out separate.
right. And at the moment, we don't have a rep for Lank, the same entity that just gave us, that's a citywide Los Angeles. We don't have a rep for that.
Can I remind everybody that it's a quarter till and we still
Yeah,
have
we're
items
done.
to go?
Oh,
Huh?
she still wants
We're
to do a
almost
committee
done.
report. She's wanted to do a committee report.
Yes,
Go right ahead. Oh,
Go.
sorry.
Yeah, so that's where we are.
that's where
committee
we are.
reports.
Committee,
Oh. You're not doing that pet?
we already did.
Oh, okay.
That's why
They went first.
they went first.
Oh, okay. I missed that. All right. So I just want to know, well, I briefly told you guys about Jazz in the Park and already told you about movies in the park. And we had our first committee meeting last week before last, and we're Teresa already mentioned that we're looking at doing some research on getting a pop-up tent, because that was lost, and a table and another thing to go on the table. What do you call that thing?
Tablecloth?
Drape. Oh, yeah.
Tablecloth, and
Oh,
all of them having our logo on it.
Got it.
As well as some board members are interested in getting more shirts, polo shirts with the new logo on it. So we're doing in the research area right now, and we'll be submitting a funding request when we decide on what we want to do and what order we're going to do it. That's it for the meeting. My concern is we've been working with the communications group for a while now about getting a mailing out for Region 6, and I understand that it has not gone out. And I want to know if anybody on the board has an update on what's going on with that. Is there something that I can do to help escalate it if it hasn't gone out? What is the deal with that? It's been going on for months.
Yeah, I
Okay,
don't know.
all I can say is, when I was at Print Depot for another reason a few weeks ago, nothing to do with UNNC, I saw that the postcards are still sitting there.
Okay, so we need to get those postcards. Do we have to pay for them or they're already paid?
They're paid for.
Okay,
You know,
And-
but this is a bulk, in effect, a kind of bulk mail adventure. So I think what has to happen is Raheem has to start the process over in terms of getting the EDD, every door direct routes. I'm not really clear. We were unable to pay for it, physically unable to pay for it last time, in last summer. So we reauthorized the payment, but I think what he has to do is have the postcards rubber band them in groups of 100. I mean, there's a whole thing that
Yeah.
has to be done.
Yeah, for
I'm
mass mailing.
not sure what that thing is.
Yeah.
What I am
I've
sure
done that.
is that either I or Teresa, if you have your card yet, a UNNC credit card must go in with Raheem to the post office and say, here,
Okay.
pay for it. I mean,
Alright.
so that the timing on that is, that also has to be timed, but
Okay.
it's not something that can happen without first, picking up the postcards and doing something with them.
All right, I'll follow up on that, Dolores, with Raheem, and find out what's going on there.
Well, I appreciate that, Paula, because I think he's tired of me harassing him.
Oh, okay, well, we'll start with the new Blackboard.
So, and I mean, I'm at the point, because it's really just, those 7 blocks? Well, 7 times 3 blocks in Jefferson Park. It's just that one area 6, right?
Yeah.
My gosh, we could have just walked
We
them
could have walked
around.
them through now.
Exactly, and we still can. And
Yeah.
then we would save $2,000 some dollars or whatever it is. I mean, so, another way to handle it would be just have a volunteer day where we hand them out.
I like that idea,
Like a
actually.
community door-to-door meeting?
Yeah.
Well, but us, I mean, we're
No,
a group of us.
$2,000 just for that 7.
Oh, yes,
I
crazy.
heard that too.
I don't remember the exact number, but it's a real number, maybe it might be $1,000, but it's a real number, and we could get it back.
Yeah.
and
The
buy
only
two-
problem, only problem with that, Laura, is that we have several apartment buildings in Region 6 that we would not be able to get into.
Yeah.
Just the one that's
Yeah.
down there.
But then what we could do, if let's say,
Stamps and we
yeah, exactly, just buy some stamps, say apartment 101, apartment 102, resident, I mean, in other words, it's not impossible for us to solve the problem
Yeah.
without doing the EDD, it's just annoying that it hasn't been solved already.
All right, I'm gonna follow up on that. Let's keep moving.
Okay.
Are there any
That's
other committee reports? Not for me. Are you
That's it
finished?
for me. Yes.
That's it. Okay, old business, or no other committee, no, nobody else is here. Okay, old business, I just looked back on the agenda.
I've got the agenda items from here for the governing board. So, let's adjourn.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if they'll, I doubt it, but I don't think there would be an actual action item from planning and zoning. There will likely be a report as to what happened. There's a hearing on the Murphy oil
Oh, the
drilling
drill
site
site.
on Tuesday before the Thursday meeting. So something will have happened.
Okay.
So we probably have to do a report on that. And I don't think we're carrying forward any other items.
So for the governing board, for me, all I would have to do is talk about the September meeting.
If it's already issued, which it might not be.
It might be,
Well, the fifth,
yeah, 2
fifth
months.
business, it's the 5th business day of the, yeah, no, we did August already. So we're meeting October 5. And they're now saying, we don't mean the 5th day of the month, we mean the 5th business day of the month is when we're gonna issue the MERs.
6.
Right, so we'll see, maybe you'll have it, maybe you won't.
Exactly.
And any reimbursements,
Okay. All right.
Okay, so Dolores, we're gonna end the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye.
Dolores.
Bye, Dolores.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Coming on and sharing.